Good evening. This is Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson, and I'm here with AJ Royce.
Good evening.
All right, this is episode 94, and today's date is May 16th, 2023. So we're coming on close to that 100 mark, and it's like, wow. Yeah, so a lot of things have happened over the last 3+ years that we've been doing these episodes, yet wow. I think if we go back to our first episodes, I think a lot of it still applies. So, it's pretty interesting just to look back. I thought, yeah, we did talk about that and how that applies today. So anyway, life is changing, yet a lot of the information that we receive, our insights as we are calling them, it's ongoing because we're still going through these processes. In case none of you have noticed, I'm saying that jokingly. So, yeah, a lot going on. So, all right. Well, we have quite a few things to share tonight. Some experiences and realizations that Royce will so gratefully share with us, which I think is going to touch everybody because of relationships with friends, relatives, whatever it may be, people that we feel that are in need of assistance. And you can offer assistance, but we're going to get more on that in just a bit. So, all right. All right, I'm going to start out, okay, with something that I had, something I said out loud the other day. And after I said it, I went, what? It came out of my mouth, but it's like, what? And the sentence was, time to pull the string. It's time to pull the string. I went, where did that come from? So I don't know if that ever happens to you all, but sometimes things will come to you. You'll say things, and you're like, where? What the heck?
Yeah.
So I did ask about it a couple days later, and I'll share with you what I received, the insights I received in It's Time to Pull the String. So my question was, pull the string? And the answer was, close the matrix. Old paradigm is tumbling down. If you know where to look, it is in plain sight. It is necessary to bring in the new frequencies. It will feel as though all has been flipped, and it has, because the new earth does not fit in with the old. This matrix has been tampered with for many millennia, and now it is reaching its end point. You are all going through a major transformation. I got a feeling most of you listening to this have felt that and are still feeling it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what in the heck is going on? All right, I'll continue. In the days ahead, one institution will fall, then another, then another. What happened this week? Durham report came out yesterday, and what's going to happen with our FBI. And I believe we've talked about that on other episodes, and I think eventually that is going to be a agency that no longer exists, and then those in that agency will go into another agency.
Yeah, you've talked about that before, about the 3-letter agencies coming down, changing, whatever needs to happen.
I think we're seeing it happen right in front of us, and I'm not sure what happened today, but yesterday is when the Durham report came out, or yesterday afternoon, regarding the FBI and the implications thereof and people, etc. So, interesting times. All right, I'm going to continue into It's Time to Pull the String. All right, our institutions will fall, okay? And then I heard a total breakdown of said systems. And so I questioned said systems, and the answer was everything. And if I remember correctly, in our last episode, I got everything will change. So we're in it, guys. And I questioned this. I said, will Earth go through some big Earth changes? It's because Royce, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, went through various earth changes, and some of them are quite large.
Yes.
Yeah, it's affecting us all. All right, the answer to that question was yes, parts of Earth will. And of course, I asked, time frame? And the answer was, most in the next 2 years, using your linear time base. The human will adapt. Some will not make it through physically.
And that's what happens when there's practically any kind of an earth change, earthquakes and the like, people living on the earth, this planet's alive. She's moving and shaking, and hold on.
Yeah, hold on. And those that leave, it's their time to leave, even though it's really hard to see that. Yeah. It's very hard for me, because we want to prolong life and live life beautifully. And but others, it's their time. They served for whatever reason they needed to serve themselves and the earth and humanity, and then it's their time to leave. So that will happen. But again, we talked about with the earth changes, that if you feel it, that you need to be somewhere to higher ground or to another location, whatever, listen.
Yes, don't dilly-dally.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
And react.
Next thing I asked, I said the announcements of the breakdown of the Cabal, such as the military tribunals. So I think most of you know what the military tribunals, they've been talked about, and some people use the word spa, which is, I wouldn't say it's a spa that you necessarily want to go to, but those that have been arrested and then tried for treason or whatever it may be. And so I think that I do feel that's been going on for quite a while, but it has not been announced. And I think more of this will be coming out, because a lot of people, maybe government, our corporations, some of those banking industry, whatever it may be leaving this earth plane, because they served their time, and they served us well in ways that we're saying no more of this control mechanisms. Yet they came in to show us what those are.
Yes, there's a lot of that going on now.
Yeah, so
things being shoved in our face.
Exactly. And so it's you can talk bad about somebody, but again, they're playing their part. And so I say thank you.
Yeah, it's all for the learning.
Yeah, I know. You're like, how dare them? Yet how dare them not to, because it brought us to this point.
Yep.
All right. Regarding the breakdown of the Cabal, such as in the military tribunals, here's what I received as an answer: yes, and more. Hold tight, remain calm, live in love. Preparations are underway. All darkness to be revealed, and a choice is to come. And those that have been the so-called dark ones, they have a choice to come into the light. All shackles are leaving this earth plane.
Hallelujah.
So I was like, yay. So there you go. Time to pull the string. So just interesting verbiage. And so, again, what comes out of our mouths sometime, you're like, what?
But, some of the fasteners for the top of a bag, like for dog food or something like that, if you pull the right string, you can zip the whole thing open.
Oh.
Easily.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, it just popped in my mind.
All right, yeah. Opening the packages, and the string comes right off, and it's all open for all to see and smell and whatever else would be in the dog food. All right. Well, since I mentioned on this pulling the string and some of the dark ones, and they're playing their part, and a lot of us jump in to be of service. So I would like for you to share some of your experiences, Royce.
Yes. This has been a really interesting week for me. You learn things in all kinds of different ways. And some of them are pleasant, and some of them are not so pleasant. I've been working on my other sacred geometry book, and I was drawn back to the beginning and getting some deeper insights that I hadn't gotten before. And so I went through an experience this week, and the circle came back to mind, the circle and the dot that you've heard me talk about before. The circle lays down a pattern to be followed, as in what you put out there, meaning the energy you send out comes back to you in like fashion. Now, when you apply this to human interaction, if the energy is received better than sent, it will be magnified better than sent as it comes back to you. The same applies to energy sent out poorly and received poorly. If the energy sent is sent well, you mean it well, but received poorly, or vice versa, the energy gets very confused to the point where it's kind of an incoherency appears. And I believe this is why, biblically speaking, when it's referred to as uneven yoking, that's what it's referring to. When two people wish to be married, there needs to be common ground between them. They need to have things in common, or else the energy gets very confused, and there's no balance to it. So we, as people who are coming into or already in an awakened state, the more adept you become at balancing between the sender and the receiver, the smaller that circle of energy becomes until it's just a dot, meaning that the time for the circuit to run its course becomes like instantaneous. The less adept you become at balancing, the smaller the circle becomes as well. And this is where we are, planetarily speaking. The polarization of our actions are becoming instantaneously felt and manifested. And what I can say for sure is that there will always be more to learn, more to experience, and more to understand. And that's why the name of the game here on the planet right now, as we grow and become more ourselves, is adaptation. If you cannot adapt to change and challenge, conflict arises, and it's uncomfortable for everyone and everything. We have to leave room to grow, and we do that through adaptation. And I have had that really pushed in my face this week, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am, because I have learned a life lesson that I have been needing for my entire life. It boils down to this one sentence. Just because someone is voicing what is not going well or what is not right in their world does not translate to a request for help. So it's very simple. If you see that you perceive that someone needs help, don't just jump in and do it. Ask first, because it may not be very well received at all. And that has, I can't tell you how deep that gratitude that I have for this experience this week has touched me. I mean, that lesson, oh my, and it's been all through my life, and I can guarantee that a lot of you have experienced the same type of thing when you step in and it was not asked for and not wanted.
You step into, in your view, to assist or to help that person because you feel that they're calling out for help.
Yes,
Okay.
but they weren't. They were just, unloading some verbal baggage, and they may have needed a little bit of help. And if you step in and offer a little bit of help, that might be fine. But to just jump in with both feet, no, it doesn't work that way. Not well received at all.
I mean, it makes, when you have your heart in it to assist another and they don't want your help, all of a sudden you feel like you got a gut punch.
Yes, and that's taking it personally.
Yeah.
Which is not a good idea also. There's a good book that Ruiz, I believe is his last name, The Four Agreements, and one of them is don't take it personally. Whatever happens, don't take it personally. It's just life. And life's going to throw punches and life's going to hand you roses. Say thank you for the roses and thank you for the punches because that's what wakes you up.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot this week and I am so grateful and I wish my friend well. I truly do. And I am so grateful for that life lesson. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I witnessed some of this through what Royce had to share. So, and it was tough. Like, what's going on here? How can I be of help? And blah, blah, blah. And so I had a suggestion. You followed through, and it backfired. So, to put it bluntly. And, so it's tough. It's real tough, when you see somebody hurting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going a little nutty.
Well,
with this change,
the things are kind of hard to handle right now. And if you have one thing not going well and then something else on top of that, it becomes like an avalanche of things not going well, and it becomes overwhelming, too much to handle. And so, people need space.
Yeah, and they're lashing out.
Yes.
And that's basically get out of their way.
That's right, because they have freedom of choice too. And if that freedom of choice, they've chosen to do something in a certain way, even though it might be hurtful, and you can see that it's hurting, it's their choice to do that. And that's a hard thing to back away from.
It is
very hard, but we have to leave room for each other to, make choices. Whether it doesn't matter how we see it, we can see it as something really a wise choice or something that's really not wise.
Really dark.
Yeah, it's not for us to step in and take over.
No, this brought into mind what happened. I think it was in New York on the subway, where this young man who he died. Okay, I can't say he was necessarily killed, but he was threatening other people on the subway.
Yeah.
And so when you threaten somebody, to me, I think, and then a person can step in if they have the know-how, so other people don't get hurt, which it looked like that was going to happen. And so somebody stepped in. They got arrested for doing so. It's just kind of odd. So you can start looking at the world a little bit differently. It's like, well, wait a minute, what are you doing here? If you're saving the life of these people, other people, and then you get arrested for, holding this guy down. I don't know all the particulars, so I'm not going to speak much more on that, but it did, there's some people that are lashing out, going a little bit crazy. Yeah, it is happening because with the changes, it affects our emotional body. And if we're not prepared or not awakened to that, then it can be very challenging.
Yes, and when you throw in outside influences into that mix, it can really amplify things. And I'm just going to come right out and say it again. These communications towers, I hear them severely, and it bugs me out. I have a difficult time sometimes to keep my thoughts straight. And so if there's someone who's already challenged in whatever way, being avalanched with that, you know, it can throw you right over the deep end. So I tell you, it has become a very place to live, this planet Earth. And we have these huge choices set before us every day. And sometimes it's a very fine line between wisdom and folly, you know? So.
Well, that is a segue into what we're going to talk about next.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, I received the words "the crossing," and I'm thinking, I received one was reality flipping, basically choices being made, and that's what you were just explaining. Changing of the guard, so that wasn't fully explained. Okay. Doing hand motions over here. So, okay, you want to...
So, no, that was another conversation for another time that we had today. I was trying to do that with nobody else knowing it.
You all know it now, but it has to do with safety.
Yes.
So, yeah. Raises receivership. And then I heard tentacles of creation being forced of self. That's with the lower S of self, to become one with self, S, which means God or God's self. So that's the receivership as we are in these physical vehicles. All right, I'm going to continue with more information received. Through the ages, you have become, that's we, or humanity and Earth. Nothing ever happens by chance. There's no such thing. That's probably a word that's going to leave our vocabulary because it really doesn't make any sense. So, right. And then I heard, breathe out, beautiful beings. Your creation is at hand. As the clock turns, more opportunities abound, and many will come in as a bound. That's opportunities, with new ways of living. Do not become sacrificial. Talking about a few minutes ago. It no longer serves you as each of you begin your journey in the new world. The writing is on the wall of the ensuing apocalypse. It is change with much beauty in its wake. Will you ever arrive at your destination? In reality, there's no such thing. Right? No such thing. Peace is part of the pie. Each of you fill in the rest of the pie, rest of the slices, or however you want to see the pie divided. But peace is the whole thing. And then you can, whatever is important to you. In the coming days, there will be much chaos as more is disclosed and revealed. Yes, the man behind the curtain is not just one person, but a machine. Control, they will not be able to hold on to. It is you, dear ones, who are writing the next scripts. Create wisely.
Here. I like that.
Yeah. So there we go. All right, go ahead, Royce.
Okay, this is what I intuited. It is true that where two or more are gathered together, the I am presence, the power of intention and of word is there. The fracturing and cutting asunder of the people of planet Earth is a setup for failure, complete and total failure. But when we draw our hearts and minds together in agreement of intention, with goodwill as our focus, there is absolutely nothing that is out of reach, no hurdle left to cross, no task too hard to accomplish. This is our wake-up call. We can come together of free will and make a difference for the future of us all. There are two red roads set before us. Like Robert Frost wrote, two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference. Which road will you choose?
How about that?
Choices, choices.
Choices. Mm-hmm. Which road do you want to take?
And you know that as we keep growing, our choices become different than they would have been before because of the wisdom that we acquire. It is just amazing to look back over one's life and to see all the different things that you've learned and to see where, yep, I could have made a better choice and gone down a different road. But I wouldn't have the understanding that I have right now today.
So one of our conversations we were going through today is all the interesting things that we have experienced and insights that we received even quite a few years ago, and being intuitives or whatever words you want to use for many years, and we're starting to see a lot of it didn't make much sense, but today I don't know how many times it was like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah, over the things that we wrote years ago, it's like just now getting the understanding of it. It actually related to today.
It did. And I had another friend with us, dear Nance, and she says, well, why today? Because we were realizing that it couldn't have happened earlier because we weren't ready. I'm saying we collectively here.
Yes.
Weren't ready for that understanding, and it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. Because
of the realizations, the knowledge, realizations, and the wisdom received from that, whatever happened in our life, and that we wouldn't have been accepting or really understanding what our next step is. I think I can say it that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, oh, wow, okay, this is why this is coming up now. And talking for ourselves, but really it's all of us together because of what the earth is going through, and we are the courageous ones that came here to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I know we're still saying what in the hell we were thinking, but so however, and when you look at it in a much larger sense, we're like, wow, yeah, I did volunteer for this.
Yeah. Big task.
Yeah, it's a big task, and everybody listening, it's a big task, and that's when I say own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whatever that is for you.
Put on your big girl panties.
We just do that. Yeah, talk about the big girl panties or big boy panties, whatever it may be. All right, I just lost what I was going to say, but that's okay. But it's the choices that we make today have changed. Because we're changing. Yeah. And then we're creating differently I got the word abound, and then I got the word bound because all the what I term the new stuff is coming in, because we're now allowing that to happen because of our wisdom and understanding of what has gone on before.
And, you can't really take that next step forward until you have thorough understanding of what it was you just did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, occasionally.
It fills it full, you know, like an empty sphere compared to a full sphere, a full solid sphere. There's no comparison of the two. One's empty, it flies away. But the other one that's full has some weight to it. And you can see it, look at it, understand it.
Dissect it.
Yeah.
Because we do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. All right. Is there anything else that you want to discuss?
I don't think I have anything else to discuss.
Well, I think we touched upon quite a few insights today, and a lot to think about, because it was really quite a day for us, realizing some of the things that we've been seeing, hearing, experiencing, all of the above.
Yeah, a lot of the puzzle pieces coming together.
There you go. That's a much better way of saying it. Yeah, they are. And I think if you allow yourself to see those puzzle pieces, and then each of us have our own puzzle. So no two puzzles look the same. Same as no two people actually look the same.
Yeah. And please take responsibility for where you are right now. I took responsibility for my part in everything that transpired this week, and therefore I was able to see the good for me, the understanding that came from it, rather than beating myself up and going down my own little pity party lane, That doesn't help anything, but just own it. Own it. Realize that, yeah, we all do things that we wish that we hadn't. And it's like, okay, I learned something today. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps and keep on going.
Yep. Sometimes you get a big slap on the back end, but you move forward with it.
Yep.
Yeah, talking about but also own your beauty and the courageousness of yourself, and understand who you are. I mean, this is, it's the God self. Mm-hmm. And we are that. We are a part of all of each of you, and that's pretty amazing in and of itself.
It truly is.
We create our reality, correct? Mm-hmm. And so, okay, what's next on our reality? And then we're leaving the shackles of control, and it's like, wow. I mean, the vision is open, totally open. It's like, okay, what's next? Each of us have our own vision. Then we start intermixing. I just think it's when all of this is done. I mean, it's going to be so exciting, because we're going to just see invention after invention, new ways of living, all of that. I think it's just going to be fun, interesting, and the whole internal understanding. But it's going to be outwardly displayed, and it's just, I keep going back to the word fun, because that's how I see it, and utmost beauty. So, really interesting times, and that's going to be here on this earth, and it could be anywhere else we want to go.
Yeah,
I have seen wormholes recently, so. That's traveling from one place to another in a matter of seconds. Yeah. And I know our military's done that for years. And at least, I just leave it at that. So it's like, okay, how can you get from here to there in a matter of 15 minutes? Like, yeah, well, it's possible.
Yeah.
From planet to planet, or just take in your consciousness, and you can be there instantaneously. It's absolutely amazing. So, all right. Pardon me. All right. Well, if you want to contact either Royce or myself or Terry, you can dial and leave a message if you would. The phone number is 864-999-3008. And again, we do appreciate any comments that you all may have, any experiences that you would want to share, and we'll keep it somewhat simple, if you would. But go ahead and put that on our YouTube channel page, and we'd appreciate that. Because the more we share than others, it almost gives them permission to open up, because you really don't need permission. But sometimes we need that little swift kick. So anyway, that's that. Our next episode will be again on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on May 30th. So right before, almost to June. Pretty amazing. Yeah, exciting times, more exciting times this month, more to be revealed. Any of the chaos that's going on out there, please stay balanced within yourself, stay centered, and not at all, remember your attachments. The way you think things should happen may not. Mm-hmm. And you may get angry. That's okay. But then come back to that center point and just breathe and let things play out, because they are playing out.
Yes, and I have to say that I am grateful to each and every one of you, and including myself, for being here right now, for staying as long as we have, for accomplishing all that we've accomplished, for playing these different roles that we play for each other so that we learn, we get it, so we can move on. I am so grateful, and I love you all.
Love you all, and have a wonderful rest of the month. Good night.
Good night.